Good morning. Today is the 5th of February, 2022. I've explained this already, but I have a skewed vision. I do need to wear a patch when I'm having conversation, when I'm out doing chores, appointments, interacting with the public. I wear a patch. At home, I don't. It's the compromise that me and my doctor have come up with as a way to hopefully get some realignment going. It is what it is. That said, at home, when I watch stuff, I'm more comfortable with a handheld phone, YouTube, that kind of stuff, or I will watch stuff on my laptop and hope for the best. What I mean by hope for the best is getting through a movie that has that double vision coming in and out. It's a little bit unnerving, and it's got to be a really good piece to keep me interested enough to keep a pillow on this high so that I can enjoy the program. That said, I have been aware of this The Last of Us series coming on HBO. I've been aware of it, and I've been not indifferent to it, but not that interested in it either per se, because like I just told you, it would be a bit of a slugfest to get through. That said, the other reason was it was from, I'm not into video games, so I had no, the source material was beyond me, so I didn't know that it was actually based on a video game, which is fine. And then the promos advertised it as an apocalyptic setting with zombies. And I'm give and take with zombies. I thought they did a half decent job with Walking Dead until it got too repetitive. And I thought they did a terrible job. Great setup in Game of Thrones. Terrible ending with the zombie storyline, the White Walkers. So to me, zombies are a hit and miss genre, as it were. So I wasn't hooked into watching it. It had Pedro Pascal in The Last of Us, so that was a bit of a hook, but still not quite there yet. And then I noticed that it's getting a lot of buzz, and I checked out the stats, and it's getting a great reaction. So I thought, okay, it's gonna. With my vision, I'll give it a shot. Let's see what this is all about. And yeah, I'm kind of impressed with it. Very impressed with it. To me, it's a bit of early Walking Dead, although we're not quite there yet in the whole man versus zombie element, the storyline. I've only just watched, I've only watched the first episode. So we're not there yet. We'll see. I'm definitely in wait and see. We're still doing the character development. So the other side of it is it really reminded me of, at least after the first episode, there's an element of City of Men, I think it was called, came out in the aughts. So they're marrying two genres, or two different storylines. Although, yeah, well, as far as I know, City of Men came out when this video game came out, so maybe they influenced each other, or maybe they just came up with the idea. It happens at the same time, those two, City of Men and Last of Us. But even though you might be reinterpreting other storylines, you're bringing what you have to the story. So that always makes it fresh, or it doesn't. Like, it all depends on how you go about it. Now, I cannot, with Last of Us, I cannot give any comparison video game versus the movie, so I can only concentrate on the TV show. Some standouts from the show was the daughter, Sarah, I think it was, his daughter. Great actress. Well, she was only in it for the first 40 minutes or so, and she won your heart. I mean, she was so good. And they really sold the father-daughter dynamic. And then, of course, I guess I won't spoil it because you really got to watch it. It'll hook you, because it's hooked me, right? What happens to the father-daughter relationship at the outbreak of said apocalyptic event. The zombies are coming. What happens to the daughter obviously will influence another character that came into the second half of the pilot. And that's where the City of Men, to me, that's where the storyline seems to be going. Although it hasn't been fleshed out yet. So but I fleshed it out. I'm here for the ride. So let's go. I will probably end up watching the next 2 episodes to get me caught up. And we'll see how, if I still have this reaction to the pilot. I'd like to gauge, you know, 1 out of 10 and all that kind of stuff. I can't really do that for this one. It's that good. Unfortunately, with my vision being what it is, I do have, of course, I could have jumped right into episode 2, but my vision was getting a bit stressed, and I was missing too much of that. That's the cause and effect. If the eye is stressed and seeing the double, you can only keep a pillow for so long. And if you wear, by the way, if you wear a patch when you're lying down watching a something on your laptop, you compress the eye patch into your face, and then you have blisters. Not blisters, but blemishes, and that's a whole other drama that comes on with living with a skewed vision. Speaking of which, sorry, this thing likes to have its own way too. A bit of a zombie element too. No, that's again a little joke, very little and hardly a joke. I get it. Sorry. Anyways, my point is, it's a very. I'm intrigued. I'm hooked with to find out what's going on next. I had a bit of obviously it was a laundry day yesterday. That's usually an all-day process, and that's one of the reasons why it was a little bit stressful watching the show. But to its credit, it engaged me from the get-go, and I'm sorry, I keep coming back to his daughter, but she was so good that when what happened to her, very rarely will my heart just sort of stopped for a second. It's like, you didn't do that, did you? Like, telling the story. Had I known, apparently that's part of the video game, so that was a known quantity of this story, that what happens to her, and you kind of need it for, it looks like, for the way the pilot ends and the new dynamics that he's got and will have going for him. That said, she sold it very subtly, and I love acting when it's like that. Actually, both Pascal and the daughter, I forget her name right now, I'm sorry, but their interactions were subtle. They were sweet. They were father-daughter. I mean, it worked without being sappy, without being over the top. It was just very subtle that when, like I said, sorry, I keep coming back to that, but that was, to me, that moment was a standout. The outbreak itself, because everyone knows it's a zombie outbreak, whatever, but that was handled very intriguingly. I like the fact that it was a pre-social media environment that I lived through. So I knew exactly what they were going through, or could be going through, if you know what I mean. And getting your news from the TV or, broadcast or cable television, that kind of thing. But to actually not have it on your phone 3 seconds after it happens is a rarity. And they handle that really well. Again, it's really cool. Now, of course, they jumped up to, I think this story takes place in the current year. I'm very looking forward to catching up. I will let you guys know what I think of it, but so far, so good. And maybe after I watch the next 2, I can give you an overall number on what I think so far of the piece. Anyways, that's what's going on behind the patch this morning. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day.